you may have cringe socialized again. Yeah, well, let me tell you, you're bound to do it a few times because cringe, gotta say, is one of the common outcomes of just being out in the world. So, I'm sorry that happened though, because nobody likes to feel cringe and embarrassed or quite self-conscious, maybe. Well, I do have something that might, at least temporarily, raise your spirits. He's a little late clocking into work today, but he might understand your pain. Yeah, I know you're not feeling, the best, but I think this will help. He can help us both kind of chill. Because funny enough, I had my own cringe moment, literally last week, so I understand. I think there are a few possibilities, but honestly, here's what I see the most. I do see that when people feel quite cringe after they socialize, it's some internal mechanisms that kind of kick in, having been stirred and animated by a real encounter that's just ridiculous. And many encounters are kind of ridiculous on some level. And so if there's something inside that's maybe vulnerable, or kind of vulnerable is the right word, kind of state or sense of self that can be brought out by socializing, and it's very real, and then we have to recover from it. So you are not alone, for sure. So yeah, I think it's good to just relax and decompress, because these feelings, especially right after it happens, it's such a, sometimes I can barely even fall asleep after I socialize, but it gets easier to deal with as the days go, for sure, because the truth is, it's okay. Last week, I had a major cringe moment myself. I decided to try a Zen Buddhist course, but your basic introduction. And this was just a little Zoom class on mindfulness. How could that, right? Doesn't that seem cringe proof? So anyway, I did it, and I logged in on Zoom, and we, in the class, were going to practice mindful eating. You know that, it's when you have a food, and when you eat the food, you're reflecting on the gratitude about it and where it came from, and you feel connected to things. So it's supposed to be very good for you. So we were asked in the Zoom to go get a snack, in our houses. So I did. I looked in my cabinet and I found a small pack of cashews from Polish Airlines. Somebody had come to visit me, and they left a little bag of cashews that they didn't have on the plane because it's kind of fun. And anyway, I got them, and I got back in the Zoom. And then I had a cringe moment. the conditions that may have caused it to get here. So I decided to share first. I got punished for that. But I decided to share first, and I unmuted myself, and I held up a little cashew from the bag, and I was like, it's a cashew. It's a chili honey cashew from Polish Airlines. And I was super excited about it. I was like, it flew over the ocean in a plane, and now it's here with me. I thought that there was no right answer, but it became very clear that there was, and that I had not said it. And there were two instructors in the class, and one of them was like, okay, cashews from Poland, Polish airline cashews, okay? Alright, she kind of wrote something down. And then she said, would anybody else like to share? Maybe more about, like, the conditions that, like, the food grew in. You know, like, where it really came from. And so I was super embarrassed because she kind of breezed right past me. And the next guy to speak, he had the right answer. He talked about his fruits and how it had grown from the soil and been nourished by the sun, and that was nourishing him too, and all this very sentimental, poetic stuff. And I thought, oh, dang, I talked about an airplane. And the woman after him, it kept going, because the woman right after him, she said, I'm having mixed nuts, but not cashews. I have almonds and whatever, peanuts, but I don't have cashews because I just heard how they were harvested, and it's quite upsetting, so I don't do that. And then continued to talk about her snack, how it had come from, you know, the similar natural conditions, and made her think about nature and her connection to the world. And the class went on, and everybody shared these sentimental things. I felt like a fool. Okay. I had been the first one to speak. I had just shared my little cashews, and from a place of excitement. But my brain didn't go to nature. It went to kind of like the wild, awe-inspiring matrix of technology. So I just never quite recovered, to be honest with you. Isn't that nuts? Huh. Pun not intended. I actually didn't quite recover from those kind of like left hook, right hook moments where the teacher breezed over my thing and was like, does anyone else want to share in the right way? And then the woman 2, spots after me being like, yeah, I have mixed nuts, but not cashews. God, I felt like flicked a little bit. And I didn't recover. The rest of the Zoom, I had that really hot, embarrassed, foolish feeling. I was just kind of like, oh God. And I will say this too, in case it helps, is like, when the class was over and I had kind of like sunk, I had just like been embarrassed and felt, foolish, and I kind of like sunk. I was very agitated actually after the class was over, and this kind of moment of the cashew, if I reflect, it's been, some days now. If I reflect, I think Well, I do feel a little bad for myself, to be honest with you. The teacher could have handled that a bit better and helped maybe guide me to reflecting a bit deeper. And then the woman who said that she had mixed nuts but not cashews, oh, that was just rude. That was just rude. And hey, squaring up with me on, you don't know me on some cashews. I think multiple types of personalities, not just mine, would be a little like, hey, why are you throwing punches at my nuts? God, don't throw punches at the nuts, girl. We're just here trying to be positive, okay? So it was a little ridiculous, to be honest with you. But at the time, after the class, and I was kind of like alone, I had this frozen feeling where I was just like, I sunk too far, I think, and it was because there's like a deeper wound there. And I remembered all the times that I had felt that kind of shame and embarrassment as a girl, as like a child, for all kinds of things. And all of a sudden, it wasn't just the cashew. It was like not being pretty, or like, looking like a boy, or just being kind of embarrassing and awkward and being rejected. And that's how I can tell that moment really brought up this past, and the cringe and the embarrassment of myself was a little more deep and consequential. So I was able to dispel that moment, I think, by working with being really nice to myself, truly. And I know for some people, like, that's cringe, being nice to yourself, but it's actually 100% necessary. Because, like, when you're a child, and those first formative kind of rejections happen, or embarrassments, like, it's okay, it's like, it's not your fault, like, you don't deserve those. No child does, right? Like, no adolescent does. And as an adult, you don't either. I think sometimes cringe is a invitation to be kind and to actually say, like, that you're okay, you're interesting, smart, different. Socially, it takes two, at least, to tango. And sometimes you're just in situations where the chemistry ain't there. It just ain't there. And sometimes someone else is a little funky, and sometimes you're a little off. Hey, it is what it is. And I think, like, if I'm being really generous to the other person in that Zoom, she might just not have a filter, and she could have just been, like, talking, because her tone wasn't aggressive, but just her comment about she wouldn't have cashews was a little, like, it didn't think of me, maybe it didn't socially read the moment. Now, I took that on as my self-cringe. Instead of getting, like, upset with her, I feel like I did something wrong. When I look at the situation, she made a little bit of a faux pas, socially. But also, we're just on Zoom, and Zoom is very awkward, and maybe she's just quite logical. Maybe she doesn't have a filter. And so, the next class, because there's another one next week, and I decided to do it because I thought, I don't think anyone means harm to me, and I think I just want to start over and give everyone the benefit of the doubt and continue to share my enthusiasm for whatever the heck I'm doing. And just, my brain didn't go to the sunshine and the soil, it went to the airplane. And that's not a problem with the way I think, so I think I'm gonna keep taking up room socially in that way. And I think sometimes cringe is an opportunity for self-acceptance. even if something was kind of like painful or embarrassing, that it's okay. And it doesn't have to translate to a narrative or any meaning. And if it's attached to an older narrative, like for me, it was attached to feeling so much shame socially as a girl. If it's attached to that, it can be cut the cord, because part of what we can do now as adults is take our past wounded self and kind of bring them in, and that's our responsibility now. Like, we can give our younger selves that validation. I don't think that's woo-woo therapy speak. I actually think it's quite real, and the time works that way, and the self works that way. Don't get me started on that topic, but I believe that communication to the self, both the future and the past, works to change the body in the present and the mind in the present 1,000%. I do think it's a bit of a like backdoor way to affect change, and that at some level reality really works that way. So that's my own thing, but regardless, it's a good idea to, when you feel some cringe, to remind yourself that there's nothing wrong with you and you're okay, and that these are like sticky little moments where time is meeting other years and the past is coming into the present, etc. Two complex people have probably collided in a moment where there's unknown feelings on the other side too, and that probably what you need is like some self-kindness and some sleep. Yeah, let me tell you, I am always putting my foot in my mouth. I would just be excited about things and I will not read the room. So it's quite funny, I had my cringe in a mindfulness class because, well, I think maybe being more mindful will help me read the room more, but also will help me recognize when I feel cringe and be able to be like, take up the room anyway, because yeah, you deserve it, I deserve it, we all deserve it. He deserves it, the boy. His name is the boy, and he is consistently showing up late for work. He has problems prioritizing and organizing information cognitively, but he's a good time anyway, so I keep him around. Yeah, I think it's important to be surrounded by comforting things after you feel cringe, because you just need a little TLC. You just need a little TLC. TLC. That's why I hire him, for his fitness and flexibility. See, he's got the body of an athlete, the mind of a professor, the soul of a teddy bear. All you need is some rest and some relaxation and some time, because it will fade and you'll have some perspective on it, and it doesn't mean anything big. It doesn't. We take the old wounds, we take those old wounds, okay, and we say, we got it now. We got it. Yes, that's correct. He says it's gonna be okay. Yes. And it's very wise. Sometimes a real piece of wisdom will come out. Yeah, other times he's just talking about food. But what you're gonna do is get some rest and forget about it. And then you go back out there and just show off a little bit, okay? Show off your clothes, show off what you got, take up some room, relax, get a coffee, read a book, go for a walk, and you're gonna live in the world of the senses, the mind, and friendship. But for now, maybe some rest, maybe some calm, maybe some snacks, some chilling, whatever you gotta do. Maybe online shop for a pencil. You can never go wrong with a good pencil, you know what I mean? A little stationery might do the trick. Little treats. But I'm hoping that you feel better soon. You will be back in the world of the foolish soon, where we all are cringe, but we get up every day for a croissant and a cappuccino.